Hi, Matt Stait again, and we're here with the Festival of Martial Arts today, talking to Gareth Jenkins. Now, Gareth, for his sins, is actually one of my BJJ instructors, and he's a great bloke to go with it. So, for those that don't know much about you, Gareth, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys. So me and Matt met quite a while ago, and this I just knew straight away. Really, this guy was a big noise in the martial art world. So we got on quite well. He's taught me a lot since I've known him. But so I'm been running a jiu-jitsu club since I was a purple belt with Pedro Bessa, and we're in the Chepstow area and Newport and Caldecott, and we run classes every day of the week. Got about 50, 60 students. That we've grown those numbers over the years, and I'm a black belt now. Been a black belt in the Pedro Bessa for coming up 2 years nearly. So really enjoy it. Do a bit of judo as well. Got a couple of black belt judo students under us as well. Actively competitive, so we got a couple of competitions coming up now. So we're just doing everything, enjoying it. Don't class myself as a martial artist per se, but just enjoying the sport and enjoying meeting new people, friends, and just having fun basically. So
No, cool. So it's one of those where there's a bit of a sort of divisive nature sometimes in regards to martial arts, where people are like, they don't like that, or that's wrong, or this is brilliant. And the whole point of the Festival of Martial Arts is to bring people together so that we can sort of celebrate what's, what we share, what's good, as opposed to point out other, what we think are other people's failings, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've personally found fascinating with regards to the BJJ is the sheer complexity of it. It's that when you're looking at a striking art, the basics of striking, most people can get down reasonably quickly. And then it's a case of sort of honing that and building on that. But it's the foundations, the basics. It's quite a quick process. BJJ is just a completely different animal in regards to that. So how do you, as an instructor, start the process of teaching somebody that knowledge?
Yeah, well, there is, I suppose, a fundamental principle to the martial art or the sport. You can look at it from both ways, really, in my eyes. At the end of the day, you can only do what your body can do. So you have to sort of like own your style and your way of doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu through what you pick up from people you train with, and what you sort of add to your arsenal as you go along. As you know, the fundamental principles for me is the art of passing guard and guard retention, and then you add on whatever you need to when you get more competitive. From a martial arts perspective or a self-defense, you could just say you just want to end the fight quickly. But then when you got another martial artist or a jiu-jitsu guy who is equally as good as you, then those submissions don't come, as often as you'd like. So then you end up in a battle, like a game of chess, where you're trying to figure out the other guy, what his capabilities are, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. And over time, this is how you build up your arsenal. But the basic thing is you just passing guard and you get in a good positional situation so you can control the fight, control the match, and then pick what you want to do from there. And from a teaching perspective, you teach those fundamentals first, like your side control, your full mount, your taking the back. They're the fun ones. But when you're stuck in guard or you're stuck in side control or you're stuck on the bottom, you just got to think escape, regard, start again. And you just keep repeating it over and over again. And then you mix in a few submissions with that. You use the basic warm-up drills as part of teaching the fundamentals as you go. And then obviously just make those classes not tiresome, but sort of exciting and beneficial. So you gain a good fitness and you're working your core and you're just building on that. And you're just keeping those students interested then over time, just keeping them excited, keeping them interested, keeping their juices flowing. And just like I said, if you don't enjoy the martial art and you're not getting a full fitness routine out of it, then obviously it's not for you. But more, generally anybody that comes through the door, we see multiple times again. And like I said, we do hold our students quite well. We got guys coming back to our club after having 2-3 years off. We got guys that are in their 70s training with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's for everyone. It's for, we're starting to introduce a few children's classes, maybe in the future. But for now, I just want to concentrate. I have been concentrating on my black belt journey. Now I've got my black belt. I think now there's more onus on trying to maintain that black belt and trying to keep yourself current and competitive. And then I think at this point now, this is where I tend to, my reflections go to my students. So now more and more of my students are wanting to compete, and also bringing their friends in. And then, we're seeing a really big growth at the moment of the club and the martial art in general. So, but like I said, I'm really looking forward to going to the festival, because I think personally that jiu-jitsu is one of those martial arts to really do. You can include everybody, whether it be little children or women or elderly people or anyone, and you can get them all involved in a different way. So
so I agree. So the festival itself, then, you're going to be coming along and doing a couple of sessions. Have you got a sort of an idea of what it is you're going to be looking at specifically? Because I'm sure there'll be some people that may feel a bit that it's out of their depth. They're not used to that way of doing things, if you like, and there's always that sort of worry that they might look a bit foolish or something if they try something new. But that's the point of the festival, really, is trying something new, having a go at new things. And so, have you got an idea of what you're going to be looking at, or what you want to get across?
I'll take the festival and teaching sessions there as I do, just any old regular class. It's you kind of got your core group of people that come to class every day, but then when somebody new walks through the door, you've got to kind of focus on these new people that's just walked through the door. So they're walking into a situation where they're surrounded by all these different colored belts, and they all know what to do. But then you've got this 1-2 people that are just stood there, sort of hugging themselves, thinking, I'm a bit lost. So then what we're kind of do is encourage the whole class to group around and just focus on these new people, and then just get them up to speed as quick as possible. So at the festival, I know there's going to be a lot of people from different martial arts, but you don't want to get into one of those, do you think jiu-jitsu is better than karate, or do you think jiu-jitsu is better than kickboxing? And but at the end of the day, it's about bringing all the martial arts together. So I'll just have an open mind, and just if people want to get on the mats and have a roll about or learn the fundamentals, I do understand that when you're showing somebody the basics of jiu-jitsu, you kind of just say, right, lie on the floor, I'll jump on top of you, and then you got to try and get me off. And then they'll be like, well, that doesn't sound very interesting. But I'm looking at it from a competitive sort of like basic class format. You know what I mean? So, or you could say, turn around, look the other way, let me grab you around the neck and see how long it takes me for you to choke you out, which you wouldn't want to do because you just have loads of people lying around trying to choke and cover and each other unconscious. So there's a safety aspect of it as well, because as you know, with boxing or anything like that, if somebody said, show me boxing, you just punched him in the face, that wouldn't be cool. Likewise with the jiu-jitsu, you just wouldn't want a load of people trying to perform heel hooks or rear naked chokes, because it's just dangerous, basically. I mean, you can put somebody unconscious in 3 seconds, and it's not cool. So I always come at it from positional positions, passing guard, just maybe, because as you know, a lot of people think that jiu-jitsu is just what you do on the ground, but I invoke a lot of wrestling takedowns, basic wrestling takedowns, and judo throws that you can use to get to the ground. So it'll be basic shoulder throws, ankle picks, just to get the guy on the floor. Then you get somebody's attention then. So 1 minute you stood on your feet, and before you know it, your leg has been swept and you're on the floor. Then you kind of you get that shock, and then you got to kick in. And I think that's what really gets people to focus on what comes next. Because if you get pushed and you fall over, you're kind of disorientated. So you need to focus. And like you said, like with any martial artist, that focus is key. Is you're trained to get that focus instantly. And you can get that with somebody brand new. If I just pick somebody off the street and I push them over, you know what I mean, they're going to put up a fight. But then if I say to them, well, you push me over and I fall on the ground, they think they're winning. But really, that's not what's going to happen. But then when you both end up on the ground, it's being able to take control. And I think if I can use that aspect of an introduction, I think that'll get more people involved, because they'll see the falling over and the basic moves. And then now you start jiu-jitsu. This is where the jiu-jitsu comes into practice. It's like you said, first and foremost, it is a self-defense.
Yeah, and that's and again, it's one of those things where I've talked a couple of times on some of these chats, and I talk about the term Boltons, which is so we're not looking to teach somebody a system on these sessions. It's more of a sort of an introduction to it, and a few sort of things and principles and ideas that they can play with and add into their existing toolbox of things that they do. So I mean, a lot of what I find about it is, in all honesty, the ground stuff, although as I say complex, it's just great fun. There's a lot of fun to be had by doing it. And I think that's that's an important thing to sort of consider with any training, is the fun element. But one of the questions I do have is the term rolling, because again, for non-grapplers, for people that aren't involved in that world, they may have heard of the term, but they don't quite understand what the concept of rolling is. So can you just give us a quick overview of that?
Yeah, I think it comes from I think, like you said, a playful aspect. Because if you're setting up your jiu-jitsu club, you've got to make sparring, rolling, or full contact, what it might be classed as. You've got to have that in every class. There are some clubs that they do a beginner's class, 1 hour. You just turn up, you do a drill, they show you a move, and then you go home. Then there's other clubs that they do, open mat, where it's just flow rolling. So you kind of got two people that naturally sort of migrate to each other, of a same sort of standard level of grappling, and then they what you call flow roll. So then they just try different things, 50%, sometimes at 40%, and they just go over things. They grab an ankle, then they roll backwards, and then they go into a half guard situation. They let the guy pass, and then the guy gives up his back, so lets the opportunity for the other person to take his back. But it's all in a playful rolling situation. This helps go over drills that you've learned, go over things in your head that you're not quite getting. You could stop at any moment. I think that's where it comes from. And if you're in a class and you just say to people, right, now we've finished drilling, now we're sparring, sometimes you see it in people's faces. They're like, oh, I want to sit this out.
Yeah.
Or now we're fighting. Oh, no, I don't think this is for me. Or what I get asked a lot is, oh, do you think I can do this bit? And then I say, well, yeah, now you've gone with somebody of your standard. Now you go with a higher belt and you flow roll. This is the opportunity to go over things. Any questions, they can actually teach you as you're rolling. And this is where it comes. And then you can ramp it up then as hard as you want. Then usually the brown belts and the purple belts just go in the corner and then just start tearing lumps out of each other. And then they go, what are they doing over there? It's the same thing as you are, but you're doing it in a more controlled manner with somebody overseeing you, and just having a roll. It's just more playful. It's like I think it's the terminology it has evolved to make it more inclusive for all levels.
Yeah,
Whereas if I just say, right, we're just going to go over there now and fight or spar, I think people are more willing just to say, well, I'm going to sit this bit out. So I think it's a way of including everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah. So it's taking out that sort of competitive mindset to it,
so,
and playing, as you say, playing. So no, that's all great. So right, how do people get in touch with you if they want to find out more, if they want to connect with you? The Facebook group, things like that?
Yeah, so we got the Modern Samurai Martial Arts page. We got the Chepstow Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Facebook page. You can find me on Instagram, Jiu-Jitsu Jenkins. You can probably find me through on Google. If you Google the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in South Wales, we're affiliated club with Pedro Bessa, so we have got many affiliations all over South Wales, but I think we are probably the only place to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu between Newport and Chepstow and Bristol. So if you draw a big circle around Chepstow, you know, we're kind of like the only person doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in this area. You know, and we get people coming over from Bristol. We've got guys coming up from Yeovil. We got guys coming down from Hereford regularly, Pembroke. So we are drawing in people from other clubs. We cross-train a lot with some of the Gracie Barra clubs from Bristol, Gloucester. You know what I mean? We do reach out. Every student of mine have got friends from other clubs, and at competitions, this is where you get to meet other people from other clubs. And we're constantly getting people saying, well, you know, it's lovely to see you and compete with you at the competition. Give us a shout and we'll come down and we'll bring a few boys over. So we're really lucky in that sense. So yeah, find us in Chepstow, Caldecott and Newport, Modern Samurai Martial Arts, and the surrounding areas. So get in touch.
All right, cool.
Yeah, see you on the map.
Yeah. So Gareth, thanks very much for chatting to us today, my friend, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the festival.
Fantastic. Yeah, looking forward to it. My family can't wait. My kids are looking forward to seeing all sorts of martial arts going on.
Cheers, buddy.
Take care. All the best.